These are the 5 laws of creation, not the 5 theories of creation, not the 5 kind of cool ideas, may work, may not work. These are the 5 laws of creation that once you begin to apply in your life will completely transform your life. And they're the only 5 laws that you need. And everything other than these 5 laws is a belief. It's a belief about who we are. It's a belief. It's this thing that will be reflected back to us, but those beliefs will change. Different than belief, these are laws. And behind this is some of the most profound insights, some of the most profound things that have transformed my life and so many other people. And in this video, I want to share with you what those 5 laws are, how to apply them in your life, and why a lot of the other things are just beliefs that are interchangeable, that you can let go of whenever you want. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 laws of creation. These are all laws that I've been applying in my own life. I've known about them since about 2011 or 12 when I found this material. But recently, actually, this was brought back into my awareness in a way that was just so magical. I was in Costa Rica for the last week. We're doing something called plant medicine. I know to some people that probably sounds pretty esoteric, but plant medicine is something that, like ayahuasca or Wachuma, which is San Pedro. I'm not saying everybody should do this, but this is something that some people may use as a tool and to find out, to kind of explore consciousness. And during what is called the Wachuma ceremony, which is San Pedro, which is a cactus, which is this beautiful medicine that I feel deeply connected to. And it's something that opens up the heart in a way. And in this state, there was what's called a Wachumero. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the person that was facilitating it, that's been working with the medicine for over 20 years in Peru, and this person was the one sharing these ideas, and it was a all-day ceremony. We drank in the morning. It's this powdery substance that doesn't taste so good. What you do is you get, he serves you. There were 20-something of us. We had some subscribers there, and it was an amazing, beautiful experience. One of the most profound experiences of my entire life, to be honest with you. We were on this beautiful Maloca. We were overlooking one of the most epic views you could possibly imagine. And on this, we had an altar set up, and he had sacred geometry. There's a certain design that he had. And San Pedro is actually a very social thing. So what you do is you take this medicine in the morning, you take this tablespoon in water, you drink it. There was 2 hours of noble silence. After that, there were these periods where we get brought together. And what would happen is we get brought together, and the person that was leading it, who was this guy with great energy, that's been doing it for 20 years, he was facilitating and teaching us about these 5 laws of creation. And he was sharing each one. He would do a little talk, he would explain it, and then we would break. We'd have free time to play, to talk to each other, to eat, do whatever. And then every hour or so, we'd come back together and we would learn something new and then go back out and kind of explore that one idea. And there were 5 different times. Those were the different breaks we were taking. There was also a fire that was transmuting energy, and it was the most profound experience of my life. And I've already known about the 5 laws. This is a funny thing, but there was a refreshing that I wanted to share with you guys with the 5 laws, also because these 5 laws come from somebody named Bashar. Many of you know I'm a big Bashar head. I've been studying Bashar's material since 2012. Bashar is kind of like an Abraham Hicks type thing. It's going to sound very esoteric to certain people, but what I encourage people to do is to see if the information resonates. Instead of looking at the source, look at the information. Does it resonate? Is it useful? And it's funny because it was at the very end, I realized, after the 4th law that he shared, I realized I was like, wait, this is Bashar's 5 laws of creation. I was like, super, and then he said it. He's like, this comes from that. And I was like, wow, how much alignment is there? Because it was just such a beautiful reflection. But as we moved through these different laws, it was almost like unlocking different levels of our consciousness. And when you apply these, kind of like the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, when you apply these 5 laws in your life, you'll see it in just about everything. And there's different ways of using it to transform your life. Now, first off, the 5 laws of creation have to do with different facets of the way reality works. Now, the first one that I want to share, we're going to get into it right now. The first one that exists on the 5 laws of creation is that, first off, you exist. Period. That's the way Bashar explains it too. He's like, period, end of story. You exist, and you will always exist. Now, maybe you will change your form. You're an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. My interpretation of it is also that. You are an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. You exist, and you will always exist. And the important part to remember this is that what they even show in quantum physics is that energy cannot be destroyed nor created. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. And because you exist, you will always exist. So just learn to accept it. You exist. And when you say you exist, there's also a common statement that some people say, which is I am. Anything you place after I am, you become. If you say I am a people pleaser, then you are a people pleaser. If you say I am a janitor, then you are a janitor. If you say I am a millionaire, then you are a millionaire. And the idea behind that is it's a vibrational energy. Now, it doesn't mean that you say it, you become it immediately like that, but you begin to envelop the energy of it. And whatever you place after I am, you begin to take on the vibration of. And then especially when you begin to wire it in with action. Now, here's the limitation of that. If you say, my name is Aaron and I am a YouTuber, which is what I said for a long time, I was then putting myself in a little box. I was then no longer somebody that was a writer or writing and creating content. I saw myself specifically as a YouTuber making videos. I was no longer somebody that was doing live events. When I used to define myself as a 9-to-5 job goer, I didn't have necessarily room to be these other things because I was limiting myself. Anything you place after I am, you become. It's a label and it is a limitation. Even if it's something cool, even if like I'm a millionaire. Okay, well there's even a limitation to being a millionaire. Maybe then you start focusing too much on money and that becomes a big centerfold of your life and you forget about these different levels. Maybe by saying that you're a millionaire, there's people that are billionaires and at one point they had to let go of that idea of being a millionaire. You see, these are just different limitations. Labels are limitations. So the thing I want to point you to is that you are whatever you believe you are. It's all up to you. And you could change what that is at any moment and then wire it in with action and consistency. So that's the first law. The other thing I want to point you to is that non-existence we can't even imagine. Because non-existence itself is a thing. Everything that exists is within our realm of perception, our realm of awareness. Anything that does not exist, we can't even imagine. Now the important part to remember that is if we exist, everything in this reality has a purpose. The grass, the air, the trees, the wind, the fire, the elements. It all has a purpose. And we all also have a purpose. We have an individual purpose, a collective purpose, and here's the thing. The universe does not make mistakes. It's all so divinely orchestrated. If we were to think that this was just a complete coincidence of mistakes, then it would be a very, I think, separating, limiting viewpoint of the way everything synchronistically works. Now, if we can agree that everything has a purpose, then you have a purpose. And universe does not make mistakes, which means that if everything has a purpose, then everything is worthy in of itself. You are worthy for being you. That's it. You have a purpose here. The universe does not make mistakes. And therefore, you can let go of believing that you're not worthy. If you believe you're not worthy, that is in a way saying that everything else is worthy because it has worth, it has value because it has a purpose. But I am the exception. I am not worthy and everything else is. And what that takes into account is that that's such an ego thing. It's saying, I am the one exception. I'm the significant one that is not worthy. You see how funny that sounds? If you are existing right now, which means you're listening to this video, then you have a purpose, which means you have value, which means you are worthy. And you are worthy for being you. No other reason. You don't need to find your purpose right this moment. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. You have value for just being in you, for just being you, period. So that's I am. That's my teachings of I am. Now, the second one of the 5 laws of creation is that the all is in the one and the one is in the all. Now, what this points to is this universal connection that we all have together. Right now on the planet, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. And one of the reasons all this crazy stuff happening is because we're literally moving into a new era of consciousness. And what happens is because we are collectively moving into this new era of consciousness, there's a lot of old systems and old patterns breaking down. And as these old patterns and as these old systems break down, it is allowing us to then bring in this new energy. And actually this new energy is coming in, and that's why a lot of these old systems are breaking down. But we're all connected. The ocean is in a drop just as much as the drop is in the ocean. And your reality is a direct reflection of you. If you want to change your reality, you must first change within yourself, because the all is the one and the all and the one is the all. Also, as above, so below. A lot of these are, by the way, related to the Hermetic principles, if you've ever heard of those. But the one is in the all is in the one. There's reflections we get in our life consistently and constantly. And these reflections are reflecting back to us our relationship with ourselves. We'll find that if we find ourselves giving away our power, then people take advantage of us because it's a reflection of that boundary we're not willing to set. We'll find that the way we treat ourselves is the way other people treat us. What we believe we deserve is the way we allow people to treat us. It's all a reflection. Everyone in reality is another version of you. It's funny, even when we were having that Wachuma ceremony, that was the most beautiful day of my life. From 9 in the morning till 2 in the morning the next day. It lasts a long time, thankfully. And there was this fire keeper there. And she was amazing. She had amazing energy. She was literally talking about fire in the opening ceremony, and almost every single person had tears in their eyes. She was talking about the beautiful energy of fire and how fire has the ability to break up and transmute things, how fire has the ability to give us life, how heat and fire is in everything, and how there's a fire in our eyes and a fire in our heart. And how I was so it was so beautiful how her job the whole entire day was to keep this fire built and to keep the fire going. And how that fire inside that she was creating represents to us the inner fire within ourselves that a lot of times we forget to build. And I thought about it. It's literally a full-time job for her. She's a fire builder. But we don't build the fire in our own lives. We don't build that sense of worthiness, that sense of validation that we look for on the outside, not realizing that fire is within inside of ourselves. But all we have to do is we have to continually feed that fire, love ourselves, understand that the way we treat ourselves is the way other people treat us. But another aspect of this that I thought was so fascinating was that everything is us. So as this beautiful woman was looking at the fire and talking about how beautiful it is and literally bringing people to tears about talking about it, at the fundamental level, I thought it was actually quite funny. Here she is talking about the beautiful fire and how it represents all these beautiful things. How here everybody else is 20-something other people literally brought to tears learning about this fire. And at the deepest level, that fire is a reflection of her. Also a reflection of us. Also, we are all reflections of each other, and we're all using these symbols of reality, of meaning, to then reflect beauty back to us, oneness back to us. The fire is us. The plant medicine that we may take is us. Everything is a reflection of us. The things we enjoy are the things we identify with and the things that we see meaning in. And when we go beyond meaning, we go into unconditional love. That's what Wachuma is. It's unconditional love. No conditions. They say when you have a belly of Wachuma, it's very easy to love everybody. The practice, though, is taking it in beyond that. And unconditional love is our natural state of being. It's about undoing all the things that make us feel separate. Remember, the one is the all is the one. We're all connected. This is the teaching of that law. And you see it in everyone in your life when you begin to pay attention to it, because it's all a reflection. The third law is quite simple. It's the one you guys are probably most aware of. What you put out is what you get back. What you put out into the world is what you get back. I live by this teaching. I'm not a saint. I'm not some holy saint that makes YouTube videos and it just wants to add value. Like, that's the intention. Is I know the more value I put out into the world, the more it comes back. And you'll find that the way you treat yourself is the way other people treat you, and the way you treat other people is the way they treat you as well. I remember that when I used to work that 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, I would experiment sometimes with this idea, because it was shortly after I learned about it and started to apply this. Some people call this karma as well. I would see people, I wouldn't give fake compliments, but I would give compliments out a lot when I worked at that 9-to-5 job. I'd say somebody looks nice today, I like this about somebody, I appreciate this about somebody. The days I did this, I'm not kidding you, I don't know if it was something that happened within my energetic field or something, but the days I gave the most compliments are the days that I would receive the most compliments. Not that I need it for validation, but at the time I probably did actually need it for validation. It's probably one of the reasons I was doing it. But you'll find that the more you give to someone else, the more you compliment someone else, you appreciate someone else, the more you will be appreciated. Because energetically, what you give is what you get. They say that if there's something you want, find out how to give somebody else that which you want, and then somebody else will give you that. What you put out is what you get back. Karma, whatever you want to call it. Now, I think there's a ways of transcending what we call karma, because when you become aware of what you're putting out, you can then change it. You can then change the energy dynamics of it. But what you put out is literally what you get back. There's different books about this. I mean, Think and Grow Rich talks about how having a definite purpose and an aim to like what you're willing to give in exchange for what you want to get, which is like what I'm gonna give value to people, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but not doing it from a people-pleasing sense too. Sometimes like, I'm gonna give, but I give, then I'm worthy. No, you are worthy because of the first law. You exist, okay? That's it. You're worthy just for being you. You don't gotta do anything else. You don't gotta be anything else. So that's good to know. So that's the third law. What you put out is what you get back. The fourth law has to do with time. Time is an illusion. Time, the only thing that exists is this moment right, meow. That's it. This moment right, meow, is the only time that exists. The past is an idea of our mind. The future is an idea in our imagination, but the only moment that exists is this moment right now. And as you change right, meow, what happens is things begin to then change in your past and your future. You change right, meow, when you are looking at your future, and you are changing the way you define yourself. Okay? So this is about knowing that the past and the future are flexible. The only moment that exists is right now. As you change right now as well, what neuroscience shows is that as you change a different part of your past and your memory that you connect to. And as you change right now, you will also change the probable futures that you will experience. Now, sometimes what happens is people will go to a psychic or an astrologer, say, this is what's going to happen in the future. This is what happened to past lives. Here's the thing. As you change right now, what happens is you are then changing your energy, and you are creating new probabilities to connect to. There is no set future. There may be probabilities, but it is not set. So remember that the past and the future are imagination. The only thing that exists is this moment right now. I've had trippy experiences with this too, where I realize that everything that's happened has already happened. And it's happening. It's super trippy. But we're here to experience, I think we're here to experience a shift in consciousness that's happening right now on the planet. And what happens is, we know about this shift, we're here to go through it in body. And it's very magical. So that's the fourth law. You can only create change right, meow. Okay? Now, the fifth law of creation is that everything changes. Everything changes. Except for the first four laws. So everything changes except for the first 4 laws. Now, if we remain, this is where a lot of the attachment work that I talk about comes in, because if we remain attached, that's where resistance comes in. Because an attachment is a desperate desire for us to cling to something, not wanting it to change, not knowing that everything changes. Relationships change. Even if it's this whole lifetime you have a relationship with someone, after you shed this physical form, that relationship may change. Or there are different levels of the job that you have may change. The environment may change. The collective consciousness is changing. Everything is changing. And the more we remain and we want certainty, one of the things that makes it very difficult is we crave certainty in life. But if you can learn to crave the unknown, knowing the unknown is where the magic happens, you'll become more familiar with it, more accepting of it. Everything changes. The resistance comes when we do not accept the fifth law, that everything changes except for the first four laws. It's been a massive year of me changing and realizing this change and accepting change in 2020 for me. And as time goes on, that's going to continue to happen within the collective consciousness. So, all in all, these are the 5 laws of creation that if you apply, I believe will completely transform your life. Now, if you could do me a favor, if you could subscribe below if you haven't already. I make videos on this kind of stuff a few times a week. Comment below, write meow. Let me know what you think. Which is your favorite law of creation? Any insights you have? Let me know if you want me to talk more about the plant medicine as well. I can do something like that. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, peace, much love, and namaste.